If you're a giver, you have to have limits because takers won't. I think it's wonderful you're naturally selfless. I love that you're considerate and thoughtful. You anticipate people's needs because you want them to feel comfortable and loved. You look for ways to serve. I think that's beautiful, but it can also be your Achilles heel. Your selflessness is both your superpower and your kryptonite, because so often empaths and givers can shift from giving from a place of love to giving out of fear that the other person will leave you if you don't. And that's where you're vulnerable to self-sabotage. Givers are naturally drawn to takers, aren't they? Why? Because givers love to help people. Empaths love to rescue people. They want to save people from their pain because they think it will make them love us, that it will make us valuable in their eyes, won't it? But that's not what happens. What happens is they don't want to be saved. They don't want to be rescued. They don't want to become your project. And eventually that triggers their shame and they rebel and they revert back to their old self, which is most likely closed off, non-vulnerable, and neglectful towards other people's needs. And that's why givers need limits. The problem is we think limits will limit our connection and closeness. Limits and boundaries will lead to them abandoning us, right? Wrong. A lack of boundaries is what leads to disconnection because we're disconnected from ourselves. And when we abandon our own needs in order to serve someone else's, we still end up feeling abandoned, don't we? Empaths rarely ask the question, how much neglect am I actually willing to tolerate before I do something? Because for so many of you, your tolerance for neglect or toxic behavior is in the stratosphere because not enough people have reminded you that you deserve more. Givers bend over backwards for their partner, right? But they forget to realize you're worth someone bending over backwards for you too. Bottom line, if you aren't willing to lose your relationships over toxic behaviors, you will lose yourself within them every time. The reason we can't leave is because we've wrapped up our identity in this relationship. Our self-worth is attached to whether they see us as worthy. And that's extremely dangerous. Boundaries and limits don't punish them. They protect us. And if you're a giver, make sure you're picking other givers to love. If you're generous with your service and time, make sure that's a quality you're paying close attention to in your potential partners. I don't care how much you love them. Love isn't enough. Relationships require exponentially more than just a feeling of love between two people. The truth is you're valuable, you're lovable, you're not a burden, you're not too much, you're not too emotional, you simply want kindness and respect and consideration and reciprocation, which you deserve. Needing those things doesn't make you needy, but you have to be the first one who stands up for you and advocates for those legitimate needs. Find the courage to find your worth and value and voice again, because so often you're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person.